I just spent an entire summer running 5 different portable air conditioners in the same 400-square-foot room. Same thermostat placement, same windows, same brutal heat wave that had my neighbors melting into their couches. And what I found out is going to save some of you a lot of money, and it's going to make others of you very angry that you already bought the wrong unit. Because here's the thing nobody tells you before you buy a portable AC. The BTU number on the box is basically marketing fiction. 2 units with the exact same 14,000 BTU label on the front can perform completely differently once you actually run them for 8 hours straight in real heat. So I didn't just look at spec sheets. I tracked actual room temperature drop, actual noise levels with a decibel meter, and actual electric bills across 30 days of testing. 5 units made the cut. One of them is loud enough to drown out your TV. One of them is so quiet you'll forget it's running. And the one that took the top spot does something the other 4 don't even attempt. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up, because the budget pick on this list might honestly be all you need. Coming in at number 5, the SereneLife SLPAC10. This is the value pick, and I want to be upfront. It is not going to blow you away with features. What it does is cool a small to medium room reliably for a price that won't make you flinch. Rated at 10,000 BTU, this thing is realistically suited for rooms in the 300 to 350 square foot range, not the 450 square feet some budget units try to claim. In my testing, it dropped a 320 square foot bedroom from 84 degrees to 72 degrees in about 40 minutes, which is respectable for the price bracket. The control panel is simple. You get a digital display, a 24-hour programmable timer, and a remote that feels a little cheap in the hand but gets the job done. It also functions as a dehumidifier and a straight fan if you don't need full cooling, which is a nice bit of flexibility for shoulder season use. The single hose design is the big trade-off here. Single hose units pull air from inside the room to exhaust hot air outside, which means they're pulling in slightly warm replacement air through cracks in your doors and windows the entire time they run. It's not a deal breaker, but it does mean slower cooling and a bit less efficiency compared to dual hose designs later on this list. Noise sits around 53 decibels on the low setting, which is noticeable but not obnoxious. Think of a running dishwasher in the next room. The included window kit is serviceable but flimsy, and I'd recommend grabbing some extra foam sealant if your window frame isn't a standard size. At right around $280, the SereneLife earns its spot as the pick for anyone who wants reliable cooling for a bedroom or home office without spending $300 or $400 on features they won't use. Number 4 is the LG LP1419 IVSM, and this is where things start getting genuinely impressive. LG built this one around a dual inverter compressor, which is the same technology you'd find in their higher-end window units, and it makes a real difference. Instead of the compressor cycling on and off at full blast like a traditional unit, the inverter compressor ramps up and down smoothly to maintain your target temperature, which means less noise, less energy waste, and a much more even room temperature over time. At 14,000 BTU, with a 9,500 BTU DOE equivalent rating under the newer testing standard, this thing is built for rooms up to about 500 square feet. In my living room test, once it hit the target temperature, it settled into a whisper quiet mode that measured 44 decibels. Genuinely one of the quietest portable units I've ever tested. You can hold a normal conversation next to it and barely notice it's running. The smart features are where LG pulls ahead of the budget competition. Full ThinQ app integration lets you control the unit from your phone, set schedules, and check energy usage remotely. It also works with Alexa and Google Assistant, so you can adjust the temperature with a voice command from across the room. The dual hose design is a meaningful upgrade too, since it draws in outside air for the exhaust process instead of pulling conditioned room air, which noticeably speeds up cooling time and improves overall efficiency. The catch is the price. At around $480, you're paying a real premium for that quiet inverter tech and the smart home integration. If you live somewhere noise sensitive, an apartment with thin walls, or a bedroom you actually sleep in, this premium is worth every dollar. If you just need a garage or workshop cooled down, you're paying for features you won't appreciate. Number 3 is the Whynter ARC-14S, and this is the dual hose specialist that a lot of serious buyers overlook because it doesn't have flashy marketing behind it. Whynter has been making portable ACs for over a decade, and this unit reflects that experience. At 14,000 BTU ASHRAE rating, it's built for rooms up to 500 square feet, and the true dual hose system is the star of the show here. What makes dual hose design superior isn't complicated. One hose pulls outside air in specifically to cool the compressor and condenser, while the other hose exhausts the hot air out. out. Because the unit isn't pulling conditioned air from your room to do its own cooling job, you get faster temperature drops and noticeably better efficiency, especially in genuinely hot climates above 90 degrees where single hose units start to struggle. I ran this side by side against the SereneLife in identical 95-degree conditions, and the Whynter reached target temperature almost 15 minutes faster. Build quality here is excellent. The activated carbon pre-filter is washable and actually catches dust the way it's supposed to. The auto-drain function means you're rarely emptying a bucket, and the included window venting kit is sturdier than almost anything else in this price range. Noise measured around 51 decibels. Not silent, but comfortably in background hum territory rather than distraction territory. At about $450, the ARC14S is priced close to the LG, but the money is going toward raw cooling performance rather than smart home polish. If you live somewhere that actually gets brutally hot, and you care more about how fast a room cools than whether you can control it from an app, this is the smarter buy. Number 2 is the Whynter ARC-1230WN, and this is Whynter's flagship, the unit for people who have a genuinely difficult space to cool. At 12,000 BTU ASHRAE rating, the number looks smaller than some competitors. But don't let that fool you. This is a dual hose unit engineered for maximum sustained cooling power in rooms up to 400 square feet, and it does not slow down the way cheaper units do after running for hours. I tested this one in a west-facing room that gets brutal direct afternoon sun, the kind of room that makes every other AC on this list start to lose ground by hour 3. The ARC-1230WN held steady. The dual hose system combined with a genuinely powerful compressor meant it maintained the target temperature even as outdoor heat climbed past 95 degrees. This is the unit I'd point serious sunrooms, converted garages, or server closets toward. The build feels closer to commercial grade than consumer grade. Stainless steel screws instead of plastic clips, a heavier gauge housing, and a self-evaporative system that dramatically reduces how often you deal with drainage. The remote and digital display are straightforward. No unnecessary smart home gimmicks here. This unit is built by people who clearly prioritized cooling performance over app integration. Noise runs about 56 decibels at full power, a bit louder than the LG, which makes sense given how hard the compressor is working to hold that line in tough conditions. At around $550, it's the most expensive unit on this list, and it earns that price tag specifically in difficult cooling situations rather than average bedrooms. And that brings us to number 1, the Midea Duo Smart Inverter MAP14S1TBL. And this is the unit that genuinely changed how I think about portable air conditioners. Midea did something clever here that none of the other 4 units attempt. Instead of the traditional single exhaust hose sticking straight up and out a window, the Duo uses a U-shaped dual hose design that routes both hoses through a single narrow window kit, which sounds like a small thing until you actually live with it. That U-shaped design means both intake and exhaust happen through the same slim panel, so you keep almost your entire window usable for light and airflow instead of losing the whole thing to a bulky vent kit. Combined with an inverter compressor similar to what LG uses, the Duo delivers 14,000 BTU ASHRAE cooling for rooms up to 550 square feet, while running at a genuinely impressive 42 decibels on its quiet setting, the lowest noise reading of any unit I tested. The smart features round it out perfectly. Midea's app lets you set schedules, monitor energy use, and control it remotely. Plus, it integrates with both Alexa and Google Home. But what actually won me over was watching it hold a rock-steady room temperature for 6 hours straight with barely a hum, while sipping less power than the Whynter units thanks to that inverter tech. At around $500, it undercuts the Whynter ARC-1230WN while matching or beating it on quiet performance and general livability. So here's my honest breakdown. If you just need a bedroom cooled on a budget, the SereneLife gets it done. If quiet matters more than anything, the LG or the Midea are your 2 options, and the Midea wins that fight while also being cheaper. If you're dealing with a genuinely brutal room, direct sun, poor insulation, no mercy from the outdoors, the Whynter ARC-1230WN is the one that won't quit on you in hour 4. But for the vast majority of people shopping for a portable AC this summer, the Midea Duo Smart Inverter is simply the smartest all-around purchase on this list. If this saved you from buying the wrong unit for your space, let me know in the comments which one you're going with. And stick around, because next week I'm testing whether those portable AC window kits are actually worth replacing with a hard mount insert.